I'm sorry. When we experience something, well, we have the primary experience, and then our brain creates basically a very intense photograph. The best analogy that I can give you, John, can you get the thing so I'm in the shot? The best example I can give you, the best metaphor I can give you is if you've ever seen a digital photograph that's really, really high def, right? You ever try to send one of those suckers through Yahoo? It doesn't work. Why? Because the damn file's too big, right? So what do you have to do? You have to save it down. You have to keep compressing it and removing information and removing information and removing information until it's something the system can handle. Now, if you send that, you finally get it down to a size that you can send, and you send it to a person who wants to blow it up, right? And they blow it up and it's at that small size, but they don't like it that way. So what do? They try to make it bigger. And all of a sudden, all the missing information, that's pixelated, there's parts missing. So you have two choices. You can live with the lossy photograph, or you can open up your paint program, or you can open up Photoshop or Corel or whatever you use and try to put the information back and hope it's right. That's pretty much what we do with every experience that we have, that we catalog in our brains, is we create a distorted photograph and then try to recreate the experience based on the information that's left. Okay? But the beautiful thing about it, and people don't realize, is that the actual experience is gone. It can't come back. So the only thing that's left of it is the way you're choosing to remember it. Notice the words I used. The way you're choosing to remember it. Most of us don't realize we have a choice. Those expressions, those memories, they get encoded randomly and by default based on the person we are and the emotional states we're in at the time and the information that we have. And we don't realize that we can go back and change the code. We can put information back in or take information out. That changes how we experience that memory. Your body is already predisposed to default to memory over thinking anyway. So if you're going to go back and remember something, would it be more useful to remember things that make your life better or make you feel shitty? So why don't we just go back and change the photos so that when we remember them in a way that makes our life better. And that's what we do in NLP and hypnosis. And specifically NLP within hypnosis. Because to err is human. To really complicate things, you need a neuro-linguistic program. And I mean that. I mean that. I do not believe anybody should learn NLP first, ever. I think you should become really, really good at hypnosis, because then you can screw up all the different ways you can imagine and fix it, and no one will ever know. And you can take any NLP pattern on the planet and make it work, even if you've just seen it once. You can make shit up and it'll work. NLP tends to install in people this fear of making a mistake. They become slaves to the script, slaves to the recipe, instead of a master of the principles that govern the mind. But it works. It gets people functional, but it doesn't give them mastery. It tends to make them really, really afraid to make a mistake.
It seems like a good analogy would be if you give someone really advanced software, but they don't have the skills to use it.
Yeah. And so a lot of times it's in what we do in my school, again, this is how I do things. I give you the least amount of information possible. Even though I'm drowning you in information, when I actually put you to do work, you have 4 bullet points that you're working from. Your first trance takes 4 steps. Do this, check to see if they did it. Do this, step 2, check to see if they did it. By the time they've hit the second step, they're already in trance. They just don't know it yet. In my world, trance is a physiological process. You don't have to believe it. It's still going to work on you. So we idiot-proof it, and then we build on that.
What's your take on the like therapists working on clients who had something traumatic happen to them?
I do it all the time.
Yeah, but like they go through it, and like how did that make you feel, and this and that, and like.
Again, we talk about therapists. What kind of therapists are we talking about?
No, I want to be talking about like psychotherapists.
Yeah, like psycho.
Psycho the rapist? Yeah.
And what's your take on that that approach to let the let's say client like live through whatever the experience or something like that, like sort of relive it. I mean, and is there any good there?
I think you're talking about psychoanalysis, where they talk about their problem over and over and over again, and then eventually try to come to some kind of rational understanding of the process. It doesn't fix the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't fix the problem. If the rational mind could solve the problem, it would have done it already.
Yeah.
It's that simple. In hypnosis, we have this thing called the presenting problem. The reason somebody comes to you is never the reason they're there. I'll give you a very dramatic example. I had a lady, she was in her, I guess, early to mid-40s, very attractive, very athletic, had married well, but her goal, her dream in life, was to be a San Diego Chargers cheerleader. Now, you may be very attractive, you may be young for your age, but at 40 years old, trying to become a San Diego cheerleader, not probably the smartest thing, but that was her goal. And so she was doing everything she could. She was going to gymnastics class, dance classes, every class you could think of. She was dieting. She was doing everything she could. She really wanted this. She heard I did performance enhancement. She came to me because she was having trouble with her backflip. She was afraid when she went into the backflip, she started having issues holding back, things like that. No problem. We put her in the chair. We do what we call an affect bridge, which is where we generate an emotional state. We jump back to the very first scene, situation, or event that has everything to do with the fear. She's 11 years old, getting molested by her uncle. That's why she came. Why? Because when I asked to go back to the very first scene, situation, or event that has everything to do with the reason why she's here, that's where her unconscious mind went. That's what's driving her behavior. Now, between the fear of the backflip and that event, there are level upon level upon level of rationalizations, deletions, distortions, and generalizations that are still somehow connected, non-linearly at the unconscious level. And it's driving her behavior. Whatever comes, if you're going to do hypnosis or NLP, their client is almost 100% lying to you the moment they tell you what their problem is. They don't know. If they knew, they would have fixed it. That information is hidden behind a firewall between the conscious and the unconscious mind. But the unconscious mind always knows where the problem started, who the players were, and what needs to be addressed. The question is, do you have the tools and the understanding of what's going on to make that change for them, to help them get through it?
So what did you do to help her?
In that case, we did basic regression. We vented the emotional charge. We desensitized the event. We did share therapy to get forgiveness for all wrongs, real or imagined. We reprocessed the experience and future-paced it. And she was great. You know, there's a lot of different ways. I'm constantly experimenting with new ways to make change rapidly. You know, but that does most of my training for deep illness and terminal illness came from Stephen Parkhill, who he wrote a book called Answer Cancer, and it was all about basically just going in and shoveling shit. There's no such thing as an emotionally healthy cancer patient. Nobody who suffers from chronic illness is free of an emotional component. I'm a licensed acupuncturist. I got over 1,800 hours, I think, in acupuncture training. I do almost no acupuncture because I can eliminate most of it within one session using hypnosis. Right? It's just a question of do you understand the whole model? Most of us don't. We don't have the big picture. There are some things where the sticking point is at the physiological level. There's some places where the sticking point is the energetic level. And there's some places where the sticking point is the psycho-emotional level. And that's the part where most people really don't know how to work. Even Chinese medicine, which treats physiological illness and psycho-emotional illness almost the exact same way. They use the same points, they use the same meridians, and they talk about internal pathogens versus external pathogens, but they don't even have a very good direct way of dealing with the emotional components. Yeah. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah, and more.
Okay. All right. It's interesting that I advertised a meetup on conversational hypnosis, and most people want to fix shit. They just want to fix stuff. So how much time do we have, John? Until tomorrow. I get that a lot. Hour and a half. All right.
Thank you for the coffee.
Oh, thank John. He's the one who did the ordering. John is my assistant up here. So if you guys ever have trouble getting a hold of me, just harass him relentlessly.
Harass them?
Yeah, please do.
Harry asked them.
Well, I don't know how hairy it is, but you know. Okay, so where do you guys want to go next? What is it you want to play with? Igor.
I want to come back to the same that I was telling. First is productivity, self-management, self-hypnosis, therapism, how to manage yourself, and then let's say create good habits, concrete them, you know. So let's say this is a habit that I want to develop. What would be my, I don't know.
Have you ever been hypnotized?
Never.
Never?
I think it will be hard. But right now maybe I'm open to this. It might be done, but that's what I'm working on. Recently I started to do visualization and meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So
If you were in trance, how would you know?
because I can see pictures.
Can you see pictures now?
Yeah.
So that means you're in trance.
Yeah.
Where are the pictures?
Pictures?
Yeah, point to them.
What do you mean?
Well, you can see pictures now, right?
Yeah.
Point to them. Point to where you see the picture.
Like it's in front of me.
Trace the edges of it.
Huh?
Trace the edges of it with your hands.
Okay.
Grab it by the edges.
Huh?
Grab it by the edges
Okay.
and make it bigger. What happens to the feelings connected to the picture?
Feelings?
Yeah.
It's like open up.
Now compress it.
Okay.
What happened to the feelings?
It's getting lower.
Lower. Now take that picture
Mhm.
and bring it down. What happened to the picture? What happened to the feeling?
It's went down.
Went down. Okay. So where would that picture do the most good for you? Where would it feel the best for you? Move it to that spot. Play with this. Play with the spatial orientation and move it to a place where it feels the best. Right about there?
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations, you were just hypnotized.
Oh, that's it. Okay, because he was leading me to the way you wanted to. What?
In the traditional hypnosis scale, for those of you who don't know, you have basically what we call the Aaron's depth scale. I won't go through the whole thing, but eye catalepsy or eye relaxation is what we call a hypnagogic state, right? We relax the eyes, we can't open them. Light trance state. Level 5 is called positive hallucination. Level 6 is called negative hallucination. This is a hallmark of what we call the somnambulistic state, or theta state. A hallucination is taking something that isn't there and seeing it as if it is, right? What did he just do? He just took a picture that wasn't there and created feelings and moved them around. That's level 5 and 6 trance phenomena. Did we need to do a 20-minute progressive relaxation or progressive boredom induction? No. We're doing these things all the time. Okay? The problem we have is we think that trance is something hard, that trance is something different than what we already do. We're doing it all the time anyway, Igor. We just don't realize it. It's the most natural thing you do.
Okay. So, but how does that match my question that I...
Because how you organize those pictures below the threshold of your conscious awareness dictates how your nervous system acts and behaves. We should probably go into this since...
So, but before I created that picture, I was working hard in order to create it. So
Okay.
it wasn't right away. Now, as soon as I close my eyes so I can see it...
Now you can see it come right back, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I can go back there pretty fast because
Yeah.
I've done work before.
Right, and it's right here when you feel it,
Yeah.
right? How did I know that?
Because I was pointing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Remember something. It's not just about the words. When people are gesturing, we call this the grid. Anybody here ever see Mission Impossible? Iron Man? We'll get to your this goes right to your question, by the way. Anybody here ever see Mission Impossible or Iron Man? I love those virtual reality scenes where he's moving stuff around and shit like that. That is a perfect metaphor for what your nervous system does with your memories and your internal experiences. When people are talking and they're gesturing, they're connecting what they mentally project to what to circuits in their body. This is where NLP kind of misses the boat a little bit, because they'll work with the submodalities or the picture, or they'll work with the feelings, or they might work with the chain of states, but they won't work with them holistically. They won't connect them in a way that's nonlinear, for lack of a better word. In my world, we call it somatic bridging. Does anybody here have a pain or anything? Physical pain? Come here.
Well, maybe someone else needs.
Come here. To the nervous system, whether it's pain or fear, your nervous system doesn't care. To the nervous system, it's all information. It's all data. Data can be interpreted any way you choose. So where do you feel the pain? Point to where you feel it. Okay, close your eyes. Point to it. I want you to notice that there's a color associated with that pain. What's the color, first impression?
Black.
I want you to reach and grab all that black energy, take it out, hold it in your hands in front of you. Now make sure you got it all, because sometimes that shit hides. You got it all? You sure? Now as you look at it with your inner eyes, I want you to notice it's spinning in a certain direction. What direction is it spinning? First.
Right.
Okay, I want you to physically grab it in both of your hands, and I want you to physically rotate it in space so it's rotating the opposite of what it was. Physically move it so it's rotating the opposite of what it was.
I lost you.
Okay. See it here? Make it all, put it all in your hands. Okay, is it all in your hands? Did the color change or stay the same? First impression.
I don't have pain.
Okay, good. Now, so it stopped?
It's gone.
It's gone. Oh, well shit, we're done. Okay, so here's what I want you, just to make sure it goes away forever. I want you to change it so it's the opposite. So in other words, if it was moving one direction, I want you to orient it in space so it's naturally rotating the opposite direction. Excellent. Now double the spin. Double it again. Keep doubling. Double the speed, double the amplitude. Keep doubling it until it takes on a life of its own. Until it's impossible for it to go back the way it was. And when you know you've got it, slam it back in. Back into whoosh. Notice the change. Notice it's gone.
It was gone before.
I know, but I want to make sure it didn't come back.
But it feels good.
I know it feels good now, right? As opposed to not just being gone, it feels better.
Okay, I'm analyzing that because I want to know what's happened. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Big round of applause. What we did here, yes?
Okay, so my question is, let's say it isn't a physical pain. Let's
Doesn't
say
have
it's
to
an
be.
emotional
Mhm.
pain or challenge. So you want to identify a place in the body where you can locate that particular
It's
pain.
called I call it the somatic address.
Okay, and what if you're unable to connect it with a place in the body?
Then you're not feeling it.
Well, what if it's, what if you're feeling it mostly in your head?
Start there.
But it's not actual, okay. So it could actually be anywhere, located anywhere, and it will still be a useful exercise.
Yeah, yeah. It's not about, does anybody here want to feel ridiculously good?
Yes, me. I mean, I already feel great, but just experience.
Russians always need to feel better.
Yeah, don't get me started.
I'm from Belarus.
If you go to YouTube, you'll see me using that exact same process that I used to take Doreen's shoulder pain away to give a woman multiple orgasms.
And what?
I got her attention now.
What?
I think you have the word orgasms, but
I mean,
I had a Gucci in the reptile brain.
What's the title of the video?
orgasm?
I think it's Touchless Orgasm. And it's from my Unlimited Lover program. Touchless Orgasm. But it involves touch. Yeah, it's
I'm sorry, I have volunteered, but I don't think anyone successfully was able to get video because I think subconsciously I'm afraid to.
that's entirely possible. Remember, nothing I do is based on you having to believe it. I believe that change work is far too important to be left up to the wimpy belief systems of the client. Okay, if their belief systems were strong enough to change, they wouldn't be in my room. What my processes are based on is compliance. If you follow my instructions and you pass the test that let me know you followed my instructions, you have to get the result. The result may not be what you expect, because hypnosis is almost never what you expect. Okay? How many people here would have guessed that Doreen was in a profound state of somnambulism the 5 minutes she was up here? She was.
Yes.
Okay? She was seeing things, she was taking things that weren't there and moving them to other places and creating physiological changes. Did I need to wave a watch in front of her frickin' face? No.
Not a freaking face.
But Laurel, a direct answer to your question, the nervous system does not care whether it's a physical pain or an emotion. At the neurological level, it's information. And it can be interpreted any way you want. If you go to my, I'll give you the URL. I have a video of me doing waking hypnosis with a guy, where I literally take the guy, I walk out, I say, look here. It's called an eye lock technique. And I put him into a profound pleasure state using waking hypnosis. And this guy's having like multiples, right? And I take his cheek, and I go like this, and I just twist it like a freaking throttle on a motorcycle. And I left a bruise on his cheek. And he's going, he's having a grand old time. We call that sensation transformation. Why? Because once the unconscious mind is running the bus, we can decide what means what. We decide what things mean, consciously or unconsciously. Okay? Those of you who want to play with hypnosis a little bit, I'm going to teach you a very, very quick hypnosis induction. It's called the 4 magic bullets. Some of you who are familiar with an induction called the Elman induction may be familiar with some of these processes. Even though this is about conversational hypnosis, the first thing we need to understand is that the ability to hypnotize people, you need to control your state, first and foremost. You need to give simple, clear instructions and test them to see that they've followed it. Our process, ladies and gentlemen, our processes work. I don't waste my time on low percentage technique. That's why I can pull anybody up out of here, and as long as you go through my process, you will get a result. I promise you. I don't have time to waste. I work with very, very serious problems with people, and I'm lazy. I truly am. I don't have time for a 20-minute progressive boredom induction. Okay? I want to get you healed. I want to get you out. Right? But the bottom line is everything I do is based on telling you what to do, testing you to see that you've done it. Because I know my stuff works. The question is, do you? Right? So I'm going to give you 4 simple steps. You're going to break up into groups, and you're just going to read, literally, I'm going to give you index cards so you can write the 4 bullets down. I'm just going to give them to you. This is the only script you're going to get. All right?
No, it's red. No, I'm just kidding.
You are such a...
I am.
Here, just pass these down. All right? John, pass these out. Okay? It's very, very simple. I'm going to bring John up here as soon as he's done handing out just to demo it real quick. This is the longest induction I do. Takes less than 2.5 minutes. Grab a chair, John. Where's my eraser? Oh, while I'm setting John up, write these things down. Cause and effect, complex equivalence, awareness, spatial. Sit down.
Facial? Spatial. Oh, spatial.
Cause and effect. We'll just stay with that. Cause and effect, awareness.
No complex.
You can do complex equivalence if you want to. It's optional. I don't want to muddy the waters because I'm throwing a lot at you tonight, and we're kind of all over the map. So I want to see how I'm going to wind up tying all this together before the end of the night is over.
Really big problem.
Yeah, well, you guys are really. And the reason I'm giving those to you right now, I'm opening a loop, but those are the language patterns that if you only knew these 4 language patterns, everyone around you would go into a profound state of trance anytime you wanted to, even if they know you're doing it. And I'm going to prove it to you. Okay? You don't need 31. You actually only need 1. But I'll let you guess which one it is. Okay. So on your index card, move over a little bit, John. Bullet point number 1, eye relaxation. And test. Okay? Okay? No. No, I knew you would. That's why I screwed you up. Second is body relaxation. And test. Notice these are hyphenated bullet points. Everything has test behind it. 3. Fractionation. Good test. 4. Alphabet. Test. Now, it's very simple. The first thing you're going to do, you're going to ask your partner, whoever that might be, if they would like to be hypnotized. Then you're going to ask them, would you like to be hypnotized by me? Because sometimes the unconscious mind says, yeah, I want to be hypnotized, but not by you, motherfucker. I don't trust your weenie ass. Right? So you can go through the magic bullets, or you can just go sleep, deep sleep all the way down, deeper and deeper with every breath you take, every beat of your heart. John, you're just going deeper and deeper into a wonderful state of relaxation. The deeper you feel, or the deeper you go, the better you feel, the better you feel, the deeper you go. Now in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, John, I'm going to ask you to open and close your eyes. Each and every time you close your eyes, I want you to double and triple this level of physical relaxation that you're having. Want it to happen, expect it to happen. Enjoy the process of allowing it to happen. Open your eyes. Deep sleep all the way down. Open your eyes. Deep sleep all the way down. Open your eyes. Deep sleep all the way down. Wonderful. Now in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, John, I'm going to lift your head up, and we're going to go through that process again so the people in the audience can see what I just did, because this is a very important part of the 4 magic bullet process we're going to be showing, and I want them to be able to see it clearly. So I'm just going to lift your head up. That won't disturb you or distract you. That'll just make you go deeper and deeper into a wonderful state of trance. In fact, all you can feel moving all throughout your mind, all throughout your body is this wonderful rush of pleasure. Everywhere I touch, you start to feel more and more pleasure. That's right. Feels good. Feels wonderful. Ooh, baby. Getting stronger and stronger. Oh, yeah. It's like a big old orgasm. That's right. Very good. That's right. And your heart's beginning to beat stronger and stronger. You feel that pulse bounding. Now, in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to open and close your eyes. This is called the fractionation test. Each and every time you close your eyes, I want you to double that pleasure, double that rush, double that ecstasy that you're feeling, noticing it only getting stronger and stronger. Open your eyes. All the way down into that pleasure. Open your eyes. All the way down into that pleasure. Open your eyes. All the way down. Noticing how good you feel. Now just enjoy that pleasure. I'm going to take my hand off your shoulder. When I put it back on, you'll know I'm talking to you. But in the meantime, you can just be immersed in those wonderful, juicy sensations that you love so much. Now, I skipped to the middle because this is where most people have the most confusion. What we did here was called the diffractionation test. In fractionation, when we take somebody in trance, we bring them up out of trance a little bit, we put them back in. Every time they go back into trance, they go deeper in than the time before. Now, since John's a good subject, I gave him a little cookie. Intense pleasure. We don't usually resist pleasure. Most people are starved for this kind of pleasure. So if you want to feel good for no reason, this is probably an excellent excuse for it. Okay? But what we want to do is we want to make sure that he's following instructions, that he's letting me drive. Does that make sense? So when I ask him to open and close his eyes, I'm guiding his eyes with my hands, I'm monopolizing his field of vision, and I want to break up the cadence. I want to go open, close, open, close, open, close. And I want to see if he's with me. Because if he can be in trance and still be driving the bus. You know what I'm saying? He can be anticipating what to do next. We want to make sure that our subject is in time with us. Does that make sense? Okay, this is how we do it. The beautiful part is this can be a deepener, it can be a test for compliance, it can be a convincer by having to go in and out of those feelings, right? Now again, I like to use pleasure states. We don't resist pleasure, most of us anyway, right? Once I get to that point, now John, in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to begin to relax your mind just as deeply as we've relaxed your body. And I want you to do this in a very special way. I want you to begin to imagine the alphabet backwards, starting with the letter Z. And with each descending letter, I want you to make the letters smaller, darker, harder to see. Turn the volume all the way down. And when you know they're completely gone, I want you to allow this finger to float up with honest unconscious movements to let me know. And we'll continue with the next part of our process. Perfect. Now go 10 times deeper into this wonderful sense of pleasure, allowing your unconscious mind to learn even faster, allowing those years and weeks of training in hypnosis and your abilities in my classes to exponentially grow stronger and stronger. Feel your confidence level rising and penetrating and permeating to every cell, every part of your body, every part of you that can store information and utilize it to be massively powerful with hypnosis and NLP, becoming 10 times stronger than a moment ago. That's my gift to you for being part of our process today, for helping us to organize this program. And as you move through the world, each and every time you go to exercise your hypnotic powers, you'll feel this rush of pleasure. You'll feel this good or even better. And your subjects and you will go 10 times deeper than ever before. That's just the way you move through the world from this moment on, and it only gets better. Now in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. When I reach the number 5, you'll emerge from this state only at the rate and speed that you know you've got it. Only at the rate and speed that you know you're a master of hypnosis, a master of the unconscious mind, able to easily roll with any changes and just do the bullet points and get the change you want whenever you want, under any situation or circumstance. Always filled with this rush of pleasure all throughout your, that's right, just like that. 1, feel yourself returning to this place we call reality, bringing with you a brand new reality. A reality where you're the one who knows how to do this. You're the one who understands the dynamics that run the conscious and unconscious mind. You understand the techniques. You understand the language. You understand the power and importance of being able to control your own state. You understand that going deeply into trance is merely about being completely absorbed and focused in the experience that you're having, about being like a little child and just playing pretend. And as you begin to play with your mind and play pretend in your mind, you'll notice you have more and more control, more and more power over every level of your body and mind in new and exciting ways, ways that help people, including you, because you're a people. 2, all of my suggestions from me to you, from you to your unconscious mind, are now 10 times more powerful than ever before, 10 times more unstoppable, and every day, for as long as your heart continues to beat, for as long as your lungs continue to move air and oxygen into your body and out, you'll continue to become more and more powerful with these skills. You'll continue to feel more and more confident in your ability to organize and control your unconscious mind, in your ability to control your state, to control the frame, to tap into people at their deepest, most powerful emotional levels in a way that motivates them and excites them to get the changes they want by giving you everything you want. And that's really the way to move through the world. 3, because there's always at least 3 ways to overcome any situation, obstacle, or circumstance that you may face. Always at least 3 solutions to any problem you want to solve, and your other than conscious mind will now easily, effortlessly, and automatically generate those solutions in the quickest, easiest, most efficient way for the good of yourself and all concerned. Number 4, because it's all for you. You've done the work. You've made the investment. You put in the time and energy to come out here. You're doing the drills. You're getting the skills. And it's true for you now. On the next count, you can emerge from the state only at the rate and speed that you know you've got it. Only at the rate and speed that your unconscious mind is automatically doing it. Already does it both consciously and unconsciously, logically and intuitively. For any situation or circumstance, your confidence growing exponentially stronger for as long as your heart continues to beat, for as long as your lungs continue to move oxygen in and out of your body. You'll find your skills are rapidly improving in every way that's important to you, in a way that you know that you're getting it. Number 5, take your time, come on back. Yeah, you smoked a few doobers, didn't you? Give me a round of applause. Hey, he's still integrating. Yeah, okay. So I just zapped him real quick for you. And I started here at the fractionation, because that's the one where people get hung up. Eye relaxation and body relaxation is pretty straightforward. You basically tell the person to relax the tiny muscles in their eyelids until they're so relaxed they just won't work. And when that person knows they're so relaxed they won't work, you have them test it, just to be sure. The moment you see this, okay, stop testing. They've passed the first test. It's like a video game. They get to go to the next level. All right? This is not about belief. These are 4 physiological steps that will reliably put any human being who follows them into a profound state of somnambulism. Now, we have to understand that just like orgasm and ejaculation, being in trance and accepting a suggestion are 2 different processes. Just like we know that when a person has an orgasm, they may not necessarily ejaculate. One does not cause the other. They happen at roughly the same time. Same with trance. The 4 magic bullets will put 10 out of 10 people into a profound state of somnambulism. But at no time, no matter how deep a person goes, do you ever lose your ability to accept or reject any suggestion that you're given. It's important. He can be, neck deep in trance and say no to everything I tell him. He never loses that ability. You're the same way. Your ability to be successful is dependent on one thing: your willingness to follow instructions, to allow things to happen, to enjoy the process, and let that other part of you come out to play. Because they're going to play anyway. Might as well have fun playing with them, right? So all you're going to do is literally just pretend to go deeply into trance. But really all it is close your eyes, relax your eyelids to the point that they won't work. Test them to be sure. All right, stop testing. Flow that relaxation from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. In a moment, I'm going to lift up your hand with the fingers of my right hand. Don't try to help me or hinder me. Just let the hand drop only at the rate and speed that you can double and triple this level of physical relaxation. Pick it up, loose and limp like a wet dish rag. That's what we're going for. Plop. Excellent. Now in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to open and close your eyes. Each and every time you close your eyes, double and triple that level of physical relaxation. Want it to happen, expect it to happen, enjoy the process. Verbiage is optional. Open your eyes, close your eyes. Open your eyes, close your eyes. Open your eyes, close your eyes. Wonderful. In a moment, I want you to begin to relax your mind as deeply as you've relaxed your body. You're going to do that by starting with the alphabet backwards, starting with the letter Z, making each letter smaller, darker, harder to see. Turn the volume all the way down. When you know they're gone, allow this finger to float up with honest, unconscious movements, and we'll continue with our process. Perfect. Now go 10 times deeper while I talk to the crowd. How fast was that? 4 bullet points. I don't care what words you use. It's not important. What's important, simple, clear instructions. Test to see that they've done it. And now we're cooking. Right? That's all conversational hypnosis really is. Whether you're giving the suggestions directly or indirectly, you're still giving suggestion. And you have to be willing to give suggestion. Most of us try to pussyfoot around that whole being directive kind of a thing because we're afraid that we might get said no to. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5, John. When I reach number 5, you'll pop out of trance. All the suggestions I've given you up to this point now 1,000 times stronger. The most orgasmic rush of pleasure you can ever experience, exploding out of trance, ready to grab somebody and hypnotize them into a wonderful state of ecstasy. 1, 2, wait for it. 3, feel it building. Oh my God, it's almost there. Oh my God, 4, 4.5, 4 3/4, 5. He's going to be a while. Yes, Laurel.
I noticed you made physical contact with them here and there. How important is that element?
Most hypnotists are terrified to touch their clients. I don't. I'll move you all over the map.
You don't ask permission?
I can. It really depends on the situation. If I'm in a hypnotherapist situation, I'll do it beforehand. I'll say, throughout this process, I may touch you here, I may touch you here, I may touch you here. Is that okay? I know John pretty well. I'm in a room full of people. I have a video camera running. I'm pretty sure
But it's not necessary.
No, but here's the point when it comes to hypnosis. A lot of clients, a lot of hypnotists especially, are afraid that if they touch the client or move the client around, that somehow that's going to weaken the trance state. And if in the world according to David, it doesn't matter what your client believes, as long as they follow instructions. But it really matters what you believe. Because that unconscious connection, that vibing, that coherence that takes place is what's really driving the process. If I believe that moving the subject will rouse the subject, it will. If I believe me moving the subject around will only deepen them, guess what? It will, as long as I'm congruent with it. Okay? The secret to really good hypnosis is just keep talking. It doesn't matter what you say. Really, I mean, as long as they're in a somnambulistic state, as long as you talk, they'll listen. It's when you have those oh shit moments. Yes?
Do you believe in when you're talking that the cadence matters, or that there's any specific...
Cadence can absolutely matter depending on what you're trying to do. Rhythm is a very powerful way to influence the nervous system. But Bandler's tested all those things, and you can growl people into trance. I mean, cadence is very powerful. I use it a lot. It comes out naturally in the way I speak. But is it absolutely necessary? No. No. As long as you've got attention, focus, and absorption, and compliance. Specifically compliance. That's what it comes down to. At the end of the day, did the client do what you told them to do? Because if they didn't, they can't have the cookie. Right? Does that make sense? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take 20 minutes, and as fast as we did this, if all you did was just read the bullet points and test to see that they've done it, it shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes to do this. Just put them in trance, deepen them a little bit. Imagine that you were the one in the chair and you wanted somebody to hypnotize you, to be a great hypnotist, and give the subject all the suggestions you would want somebody to give you.
I have a question.
Yes?
I noticed you started with kind of like pushing him and saying deep sleep.
That was an instant induction. That was an instant induction. That was different.
Do we do that?
No, you just do the 4 magic bullets. Just eye relaxation, body relaxation, fractionation, alphabet. Yes?
I didn't quite catch all your words on the alphabet.
You don't need to.
Use your own words.
That's the point.
Same.
You see, you guys are worried about what to say. It's not about that. What do you want them to do?
His suggestion of deleting.
Malcolm, what do you want them to do? Tell me what you want them to do.
Okay, so just make up something about what to
Yeah.
do with the alphabet.
Yeah.
The alphabet
Can you
doesn't work,
tell me
use
what
numbers.
on step number 4? Can you tell me what you want the client to do?
As far as the alphabet is concerned?
Yeah.
As you said, I can do anything. Like, okay, so I can tell him to think of the letters backwards and upside down.
Yeah. And make them smaller, darker, harder to see. Fade them out of your brain, however you do it. Just relax them completely. Whatever verbiage you want to do. But when you know they're gone, have them raise the finger to let you know. Right? And one of the little tweaks that really helps, make sure you have them turn the volume all the way down. Because what will happen is the letters will disappear, but they'll be reciting and trying to hear it auditorily. Most of you here most of you in this room are very strong auditories and don't realize it, or maybe you do. And so a lot of times the picture will disappear, but you'll still be hearing it. So when you have them turn the volume all the way down, and I actually, if you listen to my voice, again, I could go into all the different subtleties, but you don't need to. Turn the volume all the way down. Neurologically model what you want their system to do. Yes?
How did you know that most of us are auditory?
Because it's a linguistic meetup. Nobody, it's a conversational hypnosis meetup, which means you all have a very strong desire to hear things, to create and experience things through that modality. It's not the only one you use. You all use all of them. But one of the things that happens, like when you read email, you guys realize you don't see email. You listen to it. Right? You subvocalize. If you know who the email is from, you hear their voice. If you don't know who it's from, you hear your voice. And depending on what mood you're in, that email either pisses you off or makes you happy. Right? The tonalities, we'll get to, if we have time in other meetups, we'll talk about the power of tonality to control your nervous system. It's extraordinary what the tones that we carry around in our head will do to us. Okay? But what I want you to do is I want you to have your first, if this is your first time coming out, I want you to have your first formal trance experience. I've been putting you guys in and out of trance all night long. Okay? You guys thought when I was doing the demo on John that I was doing the demo on John. No. Okay? Every time I was pointing at you guys, I was zapping you. Okay? Malcolm couldn't help himself. Right? The bottom line is anytime I have your focus of attention and absorption, I have you in trance. So I'll use it. I just install it right to the hard drive. Okay? 4 simple steps, and you can put anybody in trance. When you get them there, you give them the cookie. You use trance to make people better at trance. Does that make sense? So whatever you came here for tonight, if you want to be more confident as a hypnotist, you want to have more ability to be persuasive and influence, give people the suggestions you would want people to give you. And they'll be doubly powerful for you. That make sense? All right, go play. We'll come back in 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then we'll go into some language patterns.
So you can use the same thing for yourself?
Yes. Matter of fact, I do. When I teach self-hypnosis, that's the exact process I teach my students.
So
First, I
that's how
teach
you
them.
relax and
Yeah, what I do, I teach self-hypnosis a little bit differently. I teach self-hypnosis like heterohypnosis. I have somebody put you in trance over and over and over again using the 4 magic bullets.
So you'll remember that process, and then you can...
And then we transfer it to being self-directed instead of other-directed. See, the problem that most people have when they're trying to learn self-hypnosis is they're trying to learn it by themselves. And they have no idea what hypnosis even feels like. So they're deep in trance wondering if they're in trance, which means basically they're installing doubt. And that's why most people...
You believe that you're in trance?
I did it for 20 years the hard way. I first started learning hypnosis from self-hypnosis tapes. And I would follow the process and I'd get really relaxed. And I'm like, I'm really relaxed. Am I in trance? I wonder. How do I know?
But if you're not going to think, it means you're...
Well, that's the problem, is the minute we start asking if we're in trance, the part of us that analyzes, judges, and rationalizes activates, we start to lose absorption. Our job is not to lose absorption, it's to amplify it. So when I talk about, like when we go to a movie, everybody here ever go to a movie? Right? You walk down, maybe you got your best girl in one hand, your popcorn in the other, right? You sit down in the chair. Maybe if it's a first date, your hands are off. Then some way through the movie you go, ah, right? But maybe if, whatever. So the lights go down, the movie starts. Can you tell me at what moment you became completely absorbed in that movie?
Instantly.
Instantly. If you could actually tell me, you're lying, because that means you weren't absorbed, right? The more we can do that, the more we can bring those feelings back, the more deeply we enter a profound state of trance. And if we do that while we're talking to another human being in rapport, guess what they do? And it doesn't matter what you're talking about. What matters is what state you're in. Ah, light bulb went off, didn't it, Malcolm?
So how are you going to explain that if you will imagine some pictures, let's say you start to visualize your goals and dreams that you want to achieve, for example, right? And then you can see them, right?
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to explain that those goals and dreams turn into reality?
How am I going to explain it?
Yeah.
I'm not going to explain it. I'm going to tell you how to do it.
Yeah. No, but like that's what I keep hearing all the time. So people visualize something like we have airplanes, we have lights and everything. Someone just created in their mind. So how are you going to explain why it's happening like that?
I'm not going to explain why it's happening. I don't care why it's happening. I just want to know how to do it.
I think I'm sorry. I think he wants to, but you want to know how it happened because once your subconscious believes in it, the conscious mind doesn't know the difference. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between fake and reality. Once you make it in your mind, that's your reality. You want to wake up in a certain time, that's your reality.
The biggest challenge that people have with self-hypnosis is they get things out of sequence. If you're going to do self-hypnosis, it's actually best to do most of your direct drive, your visualizations, your suggestion work before you go into trance.
If you want me to, I can work with you and then
Set your intention and deliver your suggestions first.
Like write down a script or something like that?
There's 3 ways I teach self-hypnosis. One is direct drive or direct suggestion, vivification, and construct. Okay? Vivification is a combination of direct suggestion and construct with language patterns. What you saw me do with Doreen, with the spinning and things like that, that's an example of a vivification exercise where you're bringing things to life, you're acting things out. And that's probably, in my world, that's the most powerful way to do transformational work, because it activates both your internal senses and your external. It links them. But let's do this trance process first, because it's kind of moot if you can't do the trance work. Does that make sense? Go. Because Derek's like, let's get to the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, just grab a partner and go.
It's not fair if you two do it together.
Grab somebody. John, work with Igor.
Oh, no, he already went over
Again, let's work fast because I have a long drive. Yes.
Doing self-hypnosis with you telling me if I'm doing it right?
Sure.
Okay. So I got my 4 steps.
Yeah.
Eye, body, fracture.
Oh, here, hold on. Just relax.
Okay.
Okay. So you have pretty good control over your body?
Sometimes.
All right, make yourself comfortable. Sorry. So
Okay, so-
take a deep breath, relax.
Okay.
Okay. Focus all of your attention on the lids of your eyes. Focus on the tiny muscles in your eyelids. And just begin to relax them. Relax them more and more until they're so relaxed you couldn't actually open them without putting more tension back into them. And when you know you've got them that relaxed, just test them to be sure they're that relaxed. Perfect. Now, stop testing. Flow that level of relaxation from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. Deeper and deeper with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. Just let the relaxation double and triple. That's right. Now in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to pick up your left hand with the fingers of my right hand. I'm going to pick up your right hand with the fingers of my right hand. I don't want you to help me or hinder me. Just let the hand fall off your lap or off the chair, only at the rate and speed that you can double and triple that sense of relaxation. Want it to happen. Expect it to happen. Enjoy the process of allowing it to happen. That's right. Relax, loosen, let me hold it. That's right. All the way down. Deeper and deeper. You can let your facial muscles just let go. Imagine your face just melting down. Your attention drain out. Now in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to open and close your eyes. Each and every time you close your eyes, I want you to double, triple this level of physical relaxation that you're having. Want it to happen. That's right. Expect it to happen. Enjoy the process of allowing it to happen. Open your eyes. Deep sleep all the way down. Open your eyes. Deep sleep all the way down. Open your eyes. Deep sleep all the way down. That's right. Letting yourself just let go and unwind. Feeling a wonderful sense of, that's right. Now in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to relax your mind just as deeply as we've relaxed your body. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to imagine the alphabet, starting with the letter Z. And with each descending letter, I want you to make the letters smaller, darker, harder to see. Relax them completely out of your mind. Turn the volume all the way down. Now, I can't do it for you. Only you have the power to do this. Now, sometimes when we relax those letters completely out of our minds, our jaw gets so relaxed, we get so peaceful, that we don't actually want to speak. If that should happen for you when you know they're gone, just let this finger float up with honest, unconscious movements, and we'll continue with the next part of our process. Perfect. Now just go 10 times deeper, letting that wonderful sense of relaxation, of inner peace, begin to flow. Noticing where in your body it starts, where it goes next. Noticing that there's a color associated with that feeling. And as you pay attention to where that feeling moves, it can grow stronger and stronger as it traces a circuit all throughout your mind, all throughout your body. Growing stronger and stronger, creating a circuit that eventually comes back to its point of origin. And as soon as it reaches its point of origin, it doubles, it triples. Begins to amplify, begins to move stronger and faster, like a big circuit of energy that creates more and more relaxation, more and more inner peace and tranquility. Taking all the things I've talked about today, taking all of the information, and moving it into that place where your brain organizes it, categorizes it, and implements it in a way that's absolutely useful, that gets you the results you want in a way that's profoundly powerful and perfect for you. Allowing yourself to go deeper and deeper, carried along on those feelings, letting the learning sink to the deepest level of your body and mind. The place that's always 10 times stronger, 10 times more powerful than any other part. And it only makes you more confident, more powerful, more of everything you want in all the ways that you know that you're getting it. Now, in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. When I reach the number 5, you'll emerge from this state only at the rate and speed that you know you've got it, that your unconscious mind has integrated the learnings and will continue to process and apply them in a way that's completely logical, intuitive, ethical, and natural for you, in a way that allows you to feel really good about using them in a way that you want to, that gets you the results you want in the way you want them. Number one, feel yourself returning to this place we call reality, bringing with you a brand new reality, a reality where you're the one who knows how to do this, a reality where you're the one who can learn, really learn consciously and unconsciously in a way that's useful, in a way that you can just go out and do it, or make things happen, or just watch them happen, because the process is being guided by a part of your brain and a part of your mind that's 10 times stronger than any other part. It sees and understands things differently and can make the right decisions at the right time and say exactly the right words from exactly the right state and feel good about it. Number two, all of my suggestions from me to you and from you to your unconscious mind are now 10 times more powerful than ever before. 10 times stronger than any other part, and you'll only continue to grow stronger every time you close your eyes with the intention of going into trance, either as a self-directed trance process like self-hypnosis, or guided by somebody else like me. All of my suggestions will become 10 times stronger, 10 times more wonderful in all the right ways for you, in ways that only make your life better, for all the right reasons. Number three, always at least 3 ways to overcome any situation, obstacle, or circumstance that you may face. Always at least 3 solutions to any problem you need to solve, and your other than conscious mind will now easily, effortlessly, and automatically generate those solutions and implement them in the quickest, easiest, most effective way for the good of yourself and all concerned. Number 4, because it's all for you, Laurel. You've made the investment, you've done the work. You've put in the time and the energy. You deserve the rewards, and it's true for you now. On the next count, you can emerge from this state only at the rate and speed that you know you've got it. Only at the rate and speed that you unconsciously and consciously understand and can apply these things in a logical, intuitive, and fun way that gets you what you want by helping everybody get what they want. Number 5, take your time. Come on back. Well done.
That was good. Well, thank you. Okay, I gave you a very good elicitation.
You did. What would you pretend if you ride my bike down a hill?
Thank you so much. This is
You're
great.
welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to tell you.
I was like a pro.
It's almost like she's been doing this for a few years.
No, I mean, so I allow you to do it, and as good as you ask those questions before you want to do something.
So instead of analyzing what happened, exactly like it, you're going to repeat it to yourself, right? So now you're the expert in hypnosis. Remember what they did? Okay? And Igor, I didn't even use your name.
He's using a lot of names.
Okay.
I use everybody's names.
Yeah, that's good. Good memory.
It's the most powerful name, it's the most powerful word in the world.
David, would I use fractionation with my own self?
Yeah. The difference is when you do fractionation for yourself, what you do is you pick a spot on the wall before you begin. And as you open your eyes, you keep your eyes focused on that spot.
Because my eyes close really fast.
Uh-huh.
So I determine that going in.
Yeah.
And as far as the auto-suggestion, I decide going in.
You give yourself the suggestions before.
Okay.
And then once you go into state, you stop giving yourself suggestions and just go deep and just allow yourself to enjoy the process.
So relaxation and enjoyment are my only goals, right?
For now, yeah.
because I've already set my intention.
Yeah.
Actually, this is my only intention.
Okay.
I want to just probe myself, regardless
Yeah.
of circumstance, to feel good in every moment.
Yep.
I'm doing a pretty good job, but this, I think,
Yeah.
is...
Now, once you understand how to do this, you can do it anywhere in seconds.
And
It just
so
gets faster.
What do you think about the breath first?
If breath helps you, use it.
But you haven't really said it was necessary, although you mentioned it a couple times.
I'm a minimalist. I want you to start understanding that the ability to induce a trance or control the state has nothing to do with words. If I can get you to become ultra effective with the minimal amount of stuff, then anything we do after that just makes it easy.
Because I notice in my own stuff, all the stuff that I've studied, the fastest way to get myself to into state is just to say relax.
Yep.
It's cutting through a lot of induction and stuff.
Yeah. If you can start with a feeling, you've cut out 99% of everything else you need to do.
Okay, so I'm dealing with, I have been dealing with a lot of physical pain, and so my conditioning is not to move away from the pain, but move toward feeling good. So do you think that's also good?
Where's your pain?
It's in a lot of places.
Okay. You got fibromyalgia?
No.
Oh, okay.
It would seem to be a lot simpler if that's
Okay. If you want some help with it, let me know.
Yeah, I will. I actually watched that one video and watching it helped.
Yeah, that's the weird part. Is a lot of
That's
times
why
what
I'm
happens
here.
is people are watching it, their pain goes away too, and they don't even know that. I've had people.
No, it was pretty amazing. That's what made me come tonight, really.
Yeah. Once you understand how there's a lot that's invisible, it's transparent. It looks like it's just words, but in that 2-minute technique, I could spend 2 days just unpacking everything that's going on.
I know. I was trying to get it by osmosis,
No, unless I point it out, it'll blow by you.
What?
Unless I specifically point certain things out, you won't get it.
To me, the bottom line is that it works.
Yeah, and that's what I care about. I teach it in different levels. You can learn a version of it off the video and nuke 90% of what's out there. A lot of times when there's real like heavy-duty chronic stuff, like cancers or tumors or things like that, you have to dig a little bit deeper.
So what were you saying with the ostensible reason that somebody presents to you?
That's called a
as
presenting
jelly?
problem. It's usually just a rationalization. It's a surface level motivation for the real reason they're there.
But the real intention is always to get relief. Is that correct?
To get resolution.
Or resolution. Oh, okay. Resolution.
And I think that's a better word, resolution.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of times the resolution is venting the emotional charge and giving the person the resources they didn't have at the time to understand the experience differently. Sometimes it's reprocessing or changing their perspective. Sometimes it's just moving its location.
See, that's what I think that there's so many things that are overly complex, that a transformation can happen in an instant.
The spinning technique nukes it all.
Yeah. That was what you demoed up there, right?
Spinning technique nukes it all because it synergizes inner and outer worlds. It lights up the brain like a Christmas tree.
Well, it takes the attention off the. I mean, to me, pain is so much about. It takes so much attention that's always the challenge. Is to shift.
Yeah, and we try to ignore it. We try to do these things. I can talk people out of being in pain. I mean, if we have time, I'll show you. It's really kind of cool. But again, that's weird. I'm a tease. Yes. I love this stuff so much, and I just want to download it like the Matrix, but I don't have time. How'd we do? Yeah?
It was so easy watching you do it. But being on the spot, it was a different experience. I'm my whole work is analytical, analytical all the time, and I'm trying to let go of that and just feel more and say, okay, well, I just need these steps and what he said, and just go with the feeling rather than the thinking. And she said it worked pretty good.
Yeah.
And I know what she did. You know, I had a little bit of pain right here. I need to talk to you. I got high blood pressure and some issues, so I need to talk to you about that.
Okay.
But that pain in the calf is 60 to 80% gone now.
How about that?
She did that week.
How about that? The secret to this is trance is not about belief. Trance is not about belief. It's about giving simple, clear instructions, and when you can link to the physiology. Anytime you can tap into a person's physiology, it doesn't matter what they want to believe. Once you activate the physiology, it overwrites the psychology. But we're not taught that in classical hypnosis.
I work in a very stressful environment. When I was younger, I enjoyed that. And I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I know, I understand.
It's accumulating on me. When listening to you talk about, you know, I'm going to be interested to hear that tape again because I heard some things in what you said that can maybe change my experience. I mean, you know, in my work, if I get things 99.9% correct, that's a dramatic failure.
Yeah, I get that. Especially engineers have that going on. That's kind of the standard.
And so, and that was okay before, but now it started to accumulate on me. But what you were saying there is that I can choose how I experience that.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. So I got to listen to that tape again, and
We'll make it available for you.
yeah. And,
You having fun with this?
yeah. Well, you know, I mean, you know, all my life I've been kind of interested in hypnosis, but I always I need to make a living.
Yeah,
So
most hypnotists are broke.
Yeah. But in the last 6-7 years, I've been picking up a little bit here and there, you know. And, you know, Michael Benner, his meditative hypnosis, you know, his philosophy is meditation and hypnosis are two sides of the same coin. Meditation is receptive, hypnosis is causative. And so, you know, I got his methodology, and so now I'm looking to see, you know, like in the computer languages that I learned this one, I only knew that, so I understood from that point. But then as I learned more computer languages, I started to get the general idea and the basic principles, and now I don't care what language.
Got it. You got the principle.
I got the principle.
And that's what we want.
I'm looking for.
That's where we start, which makes it challenging on some people who need a formula.
Yeah.
But once you get to the principle level, now it's not a recipe, it's a heuristic, it's an algorithm.
That's what I want.
And that's what we're doing. 4 magic bullets is an algorithm. You just do that, and they go. You know, but we have to really start to make distinctions in ways that most people don't think about. I don't think very classically, as you can tell. I'm very integrative and everything. But let's get back to the class and see where we go. Did you have a good trip?
I did, yeah.
It looked like it. You guys are having fun back there. How about you? Did she zap you?
No, we didn't get that far.
You didn't get that far. All right. All right, let's face forward. Or let's finish up. Okay. I'll play the Jeopardy song. You may notice I'm starting to lose my voice. So.
A hypnotist was born.
Hey, we have a hypnotist. Yay, Igor.
He actually went out of his way, and you know, he added more confidence. And you see yourself in front of the mirror, yeah. It made me wake up.
Now, how hard was that?
So it was her, you know, she was a great teacher before I started to do that. She told me like, hey, do this, and we repeat it over and over again. So she helped me to believe in myself before I started. So that was a big point because I didn't.
That's something I learned from a very great hypnotist named Orman McGill. Use hypnosis to get better at hypnosis. We don't. First thing we do when we learn hypnosis is we're going to go out and cure smoking. Or make people lose weight. Or get laid. Screw that. Use hypnosis to become a better hypnotist.
Yeah.
You just learned the keys to tapping into the unconscious mind. Why aren't we using it to get better at tapping into the unconscious mind? We don't think about it. But we should. Because then it becomes really useful. Right?
And I was listening to him because all he was saying, I want more discipline. I want to wake up early. I want discipline. So that's what I...
Yeah.
All you did was use the exact words that came out of his mouth. Oh, where did we hear that before? Yeah, but here's the thing. If I say those words to you with your conscious, your critical factor in place, it has a profound effect. If I say the exact same words to you when the critical factor, that filtering mechanism that keeps you from changing too rapidly, is out for pizza, it has a dramatically different effect. Same words, different filtering process. Okay? What we're going to be doing now that we understand that trance isn't that hard, you're all hypnotists. Congratulations. Give yourselves a big round of applause. It's all about being in the right state, giving simple, clear instructions, and testing, however you know how, to see that they've done it. Then it comes down to changing and playing with the filters to people's reality. How do we do that? The most common way is through what was commonly referred to as hypnotic language patterns. Now, I'm going to give you, there's 7 in my world. I use all of them, but if you only had these 7, you could become one of the most powerful hypnotists on the planet, and no one would ever know it, which is the best way. Okay? I have one of the hardest jobs in the world, in some respects. I profess myself to be an expert at conversational hypnosis and persuasion, and then I have to go out and persuade people. So they know. They're always looking. So I have these techniques I call red herrings. I give them something to resist while the other stuff slips in the back door. But earlier I told you to write down four things on your notes. Cause and effect, awareness, spatial, and for some of you I gave the option of complex equivalence. Sorry, say it again. Cause and effect, complex equivalence, awareness, spatial. Is that 4?
Yeah, that's 4.
That's enough.
And what do you call these?
Well, in my worldview, they're called the Magnificent 7 plus or minus 2. Okay? All good writing, actually, I'll give you all 7. So after spatial, write down temporal ordinal, adverb adjective, adverb adjective, easily, naturally, automatically. And then there's direct commands, or pattern interrupt, stop, start, now. Direct command, stop, start, now. Or the category is pattern interrupt. All human beings think in patterns. They think in chains or sequences of thought. In NLP, Richard Bandler isolated these structures of human thought as visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory. Okay? When I ask people, what are your thoughts made out of? I get all kinds of crazy answers. I get energy. I get vibration. And we're off in the ozone, right? The building blocks of your thoughts are visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory data. Distinctions. Okay? The order and sequence of them generates behavior. If I'm going to buy something, Derek, it's Derek, right?
Yes.
How did you decide to come here today? What made
Video.
video?
Yeah.
The video just jumped out at you, or what?
I was online.
You were online?
Looking for hypnosis.
Looking for hypnosis?
Yeah.
And then what?
Jump to YouTube.
So you were online,
Yeah. Exactly.
looking for hypnosis,
Yeah.
jumped to YouTube.
Yeah, and then I started listening to NLP. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. So we got visual, kinesthetic, auditory.
Yeah.
There's his strategy for deciding to come here.
Yeah.
Ultimately, he went through a process until it ended with a kinesthetic. The chain and sequence of the visual, auditory, and kinesthetic thought processes generate behavior. However, let me have, what's your name again, sweetie? Maria. When I had you create a picture earlier, did you do it? Did you play with pictures? Can you do me a favor, pull up the picture you really like the most? Yeah, whatever picture you really enjoy. Not that one, the other one. Just reach out and touch it. Trace the edges of it with both of your hands. Okay, so is it, what's the shape of it?
Like a person.
Like a person, okay. So the shape. Notice where it is spatially, where she's reaching for it. Its location. Is it in color or black and white?
Color.
Color. Is it moving or still?
Moving.
3D or 2D?
3D.
3D. And let me ask you a question. As you look at the image, or are you in the experience or looking at it and seeing yourself?
I'm looking at it, it's not me.
It's not you. Okay. Excellent. How does it make you feel?
Exhilarated.
Exhilarated? Grab the edges of the image and make it twice as big. What happens to the feeling? Look at her. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Right? The order and sequence create behavior. The building blocks of each modality, which are they're sub-elements of that modality, right? They were all visual, right? Create meaning. They create the experience. So on one level, the chain of states creates behavior. The building blocks of each modality code our experience of it. Okay? If you were to take that image of that person and you moved it behind you, what happens to the feeling? What happens to the experience of it?
Not so good.
Not so good, right? So bring it back and put it where it'll do the most good. Now, was she just in trance? Say yes.
Yep.
Okay. You can watch this. What just happened to the feeling? It just went away, didn't it? Here, I'll just put it back. Is that better?
Now see him on his knee proposing.
But wait a minute. Wait a minute. I just took her picture and moved the shit behind. I didn't tell her what to do. I just went, and and then I went, oh, I'll put it back. Oh, thank you. And I went, look at her. How the fuck did that just happen? Proprioceptive entrainment. You have physiologically in your body an organism known as a mirror neuron. Anybody here not know what a mirror neuron is? And go Google them. Mirror neurons are the biological foundation for empathic communication. They take whatever information comes in through your proprioception and your 5 senses, and it refires preconsciously all of the same neurons as what you're observing. If I connect, what's your name again? If I connect with Maria proprioceptively, I go into state. And I see that picture. And I go, look at her. Don't look at me, look at her. Right? Her mirror neurons pick up my intention. interpret it, and re-trigger the process pre-consciously. It can't not happen. It's biology. But it's all dependent on your state. If you see it, you feel it, you believe it, their nervous system will do it.
That's how the law of attraction works.
Oh my God. Really? It's all physics. It's all entrainment. Okay? Now, I wanted to cover that just to give you guys a little bit of a tease. Like she says, I'm Tantalus' second cousin. We're going to get into manipulating these filters or working with filters of perception, but now we're going to do it linguistically. If all you had were 4 of the language patterns that I'm going to share with you tonight, of the 7, the 7 are the most powerful there are, bar none. Most of them, a lot of them will work even if the person you're doing them to knows you're doing it. The reason that works is because they are the building blocks of your reality. They are the building blocks of how you make sense of the world anyway. The first one is cause and effect. Is this useful, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. Cause and effect. Words in this category include because, obviously, allows, and. That's enough. I have a bunch of others, but cause and effect is the language of belief. All beliefs are stated in cause and effect terms. The mathematical structure, if there were one, for cause and effect language is X causes Y. X is always a pace. What is a pace, Galena? What is a pace? We covered it at the beginning of class. Oh shit, he's asking me questions!
I'm sorry, the handwriting is that brain?
No, it's because.
Oh, because.
What is X? X is always a pace. Christian, what is a pace?
It's something as reality that's real.
It's something we can verify as being true, either through the senses or through our thought processes. If we can become aware of it, it's paceable. It's a truism. Anything that we can cognitively or sensorially verify as being true is paced. Y is always a lead. In NLP terms, a lead is anything we want somebody to think, say, or do. Sitting here, listening to the sound of my words, causes you to become more aware of how communicating in certain language patterns makes you more effective. And doesn't that just make sense? No, it doesn't. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. How does you sitting here cause you to do anything? Now your brain's going, oh shit.
What are you talking about physiologically?
Doesn't matter. When you state something using the formula of cause and effect, your nervous system interprets it as real, as reality. It creates a causal relationship between two things that may have absolutely no relationship whatsoever. It's entirely pseudologic. It creates plausibility, not causality. But all beliefs are stated in cause and effect terms. If I were to, what's your name again, sir? I'm sorry.
Larry.
Larry. Tell me something you believe, Larry.
Something I believe.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be complex.
God.
You believe in God? You always have to pick something hard like that. But here's my point. He gave me one half of the belief, didn't he? He believes in God. The effect. Because?
My experience.
Ah, he's had an experience. So by using because, I can elicit the other half of the belief. You see that? You see, in America, and most westernized countries, We don't challenge other people's beliefs. It's considered rude, politically incorrect, bad juju. But when we talk in cause and effect terms, I'll watch. Give me anything in this room that's paceable. Igor, something that's true in this room.
This picture behind you.
There's a picture behind me. What's your name, sir?
Daryl.
Daryl, give me a lead.
Makes it peaceful to sit here.
Makes it peaceful to sit here. He's had some experience. But this picture behind me makes it peaceful to sit here. Makes perfect sense. No, it doesn't.
Doesn't have to, does it?
No. No. When I teach language patterns, I deliberately, A, goad you into trying to fight me, and B, give you the most outrageous, nonsensical examples I can, because I need to stimulate within you cognitive dissonance. I need to make them so contradictory that you have to think about the language in a different way. For instance, most of you probably didn't realize that the color of the walls in this room influences your body weight. Because you know that all colors have a frequency, right? Which means they're moving at a certain rate. And that photons are moving and impacting our body at various rates of speed. And the faster something goes, the more rapidly, the more momentum it picks up. We all know that from science class, don't we? So therefore, the simple fact that the color of this wall, the root of this wall is yellow means our weight is different than if we were in a purple room. What the fuck did he just say? Think about what your brain is trying to do right now. And it's actually starting to do it, right? That's the scary part. It's like the bullshit detector goes off the minute the words start coming out. And the longer you think about it, yeah, I could see that. Because it doesn't have to be logical. It has to be plausible. And if there are enough elements of truth in it, click. Fox News.
Yes, lad.
This is why anchormen have such credibility, even though we know they're full of shit. Because their whole 90% of what they do is just paste things on the screen. They're telling you what you're seeing. And then every now and then they throw you a little bit of a lead that spins how you think about it. And your unconscious mind says, okay. And, as, cause, because. Simply sitting here listening to the sound of my voice automatically allows you to begin to understand the structure of cause and effect. Because you understand the structure of cause and effect, that means you're automatically becoming more artful at using it, because now you understand how to use it strategically, don't you?
Of course.
Yes?
So is the more you do this, the more blah,
No, that's a
blah,
bind. That's an extension of cause and effect. That's a thought bind. That's where if you do X, you automatically do Y. That's multiple cause and effects strung together. The cause and effect structure is any pace can cause any Y. I can take anything in this room and link it using cause and effect style languaging and make it be a causal factor for the emergence of something else. Simply sitting here listening to the sound of my voice causes you to begin to relax. And even though you may not know how or why you're beginning to relax, the sudden awareness of it is already creeping in. Haven't you noticed it yet? It's like, oh fuck, you got me again, right? Because once I start utilizing this kind of languaging, your cognitive processing speed drops, but it drops in a pleasant way. My languaging wasn't confusing to listen to. It wasn't weird. I'm laying it on a little heavy just because I want to kind of give you guys an experience of it. But simply understanding how to use cause and effect more precisely allows you to begin to target communications and create powerful statements in a way that go right into people's brains as beliefs, that create a profound sense of reality and truth through a process known as presupposition, which is the linguistic equivalent of an assumption. By the time you've become conscious of what I've just said, your nervous system has already done it, so it's already too late except to sit back and enjoy it. Now. Okay? All I'm doing is being very recursive with the cause and effect language pattern. Okay? I can link anything that is paceable to anything I want you to do. Come I'm out of trance, Derek. He's gone. He's like, can you just keep talking?
Yeah.
Now, was that painful to listen to? No. Matter of fact, it was pretty pleasant, wasn't it?
Absorbing.
Exactly. It creates absorption. All good writing is written this way. But the cause and effect structure is the bone. It's the skeleton of everything else that comes after it. Okay? You don't have to be vague. You don't have to be confusing. You just have to know what the effect of the pattern is. It creates pseudo-logic. It creates causal relationships between any pace and anything you want them to do. And it will do it in a way that will be accepted and come across as a belief. Okay? Because is probably the most obvious example of that. But simply understanding how to use cause and effect allows you to become more precise and direct in your communication without sounding creepy, vague, or confusing. And the more you recognize how rapidly that's true, the more excited you'll become about wanting to use it. See? And you know I'm doing it to you. You know I'm doing it to you. Right? No, you don't. She just bails. Right? So let me give you some sample words in this category, then we're going to move on. I don't think we'll have time to actually sit there and write out some of the patterns, but sorry? Almost none of it. Not that's public access. I got a lot of videos that are available that teach bits and pieces. If you want to go deeper, I have courses for sale on our online as well as physical products. And if you guys want to know about that, I'll be happy to talk to you about it after the meetup or something like that. I want to cram as much into you as I can in the time that we have. But yeah. Let me just make sure. Now, the patterns I'm sharing with you are based on a concept or principle known as presupposition. Presupposition is the linguistic equivalent of assumption. There are things that your nervous system must accept and act upon as if they're true, just for the sentences to make sense. Now, one of the cool things, as a side effect of this, you guys all felt the power of just the cause and effect language, just going in and out of that state. Can you remember my exact words? Welcome to spontaneous amnesia. The effect of utilizing this kind of language is that you get the message, but you miss the verbiage. So you can literally repeat yourself over 2 or 3 times, and they won't catch it, but it will fractionate and compound the suggestions. In fact, I had a dating experience once where I found out never do this. I was running a process of deep connection with a person. And at that time, I had only known about scripts. So I ran out of things to say. So I said it again. And then I ran out of more things to say. So I said it again. Next day, she moved out of her husband's house and was on my doorstep. I don't recommend you do that. Just for practice. The secret to being powerful with this stuff, guys and gals, is being playful. The more playful you are with this material, the more powerful it affects people. Okay? So, and, as, cause, because, causes, these are all very simple words. They are a category of language. Your job now, once you understand the categories, is to just go home and create lists. Lists of them, like 5 to 10, in each of the categories. And practice stringing them together in as many different ways as humanly possible, so that they just roll. That's called word salad. But what weird thing happens is when you start doing these word salad exercises, what comes out of your mouth is complete garble. Complete garble. After about 5 minutes, the shit starts actually making sense. And the patterns and the phrasings start to become more realistic, because the language centers in your brain start to pick up. They start to wake up. And you start to be able to formulate very complex phraseology very, very simply. The hardest part is getting started. Does that make sense? So.
Could you demo that just for
Sure.
a second or two?
Yeah. You guys are just dying for me to lose my voice. Sorry. I understand, Laurel. I'm fine. Let me see if I can find my list of words here real quick. Well, when you do the word salad, you want to actually force yourself to adhere to a list or a sequence of words. It forces you to just tailor your language to the situation, which is a little bit different than what most people are doing. But I'll use it. I'll use the awareness presuppositions. 'Cause that's really, if there were like the superpower Superman pattern, it would be the awareness language pattern. But it goes something like this. The words in this pattern, or in this category, notice, aware, recognize, understand, comprehend. That's good enough. So there's like 5 there, right? Realize, yep. Realize is excellent. I use that a lot.
Recognize?
I got that one. I got that one.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
What's the second one?
Aware, notice, aware, recognize, understand, comprehend, realize. So as you begin to understand how to string words together in such a way that you can become aware of the effect that they're having, you may begin to notice is another good one, you may begin to notice that utilizing these language patterns in a way that's strategically useful allows you to comprehend deeper methods of utilizing them in a way that allows you to realize just how powerful they really are.
Repeat that.
Because as you begin to realize and comprehend the power of these language patterns, you'll automatically begin to gain a deeper understanding of just how you can begin to become aware of the effect that they're having on you. And as you notice that power seeping in, you can begin to wonder where I'm going to go with it next. Aren't you?
Aren't you?
Now I do that deliberately, the aren't you. I do it deliberately to bring you out of trance, and I fractionate you from inside yourself to outside. Every time I start to riff on these words, you start to go inside. You start to become more absorbed in your internal world. The gateway is open. When I do things like what we call tag questions, haven't you, did you, now, it takes your awareness from whatever process you're engaged in on the inside of your mind and snaps you back out. Which means everything that just went in can't be analyzed.
Isn't
I
it
think you get to do it
post-suggestion?
again.
I'll get it to you in a minute.
It sounds like post-suggestions of agreement, like you agree this is the final solution, right?
Huh? I just went into trance. Hold on.
Okay. I mean, now when you say aren't you, you're basically giving them post-suggestions.
Aren't you is it's technically called it's a combination of 2 things. It's a negation and a tag question. A negation is when we tell them not to do something because the unconscious mind has a hard time processing a negative, but that's not really why I use it. I use it to snap your direction of attention from where it is to where I want it to be. Because remember, when I start riffing on this hypnotic language, your brain is lighting up like a Christmas tree, and it's a good Christmas tree, right? But there will come a point where you'll start to realize that I'm feeling way too good, something weird is going on. So before you reach that point, I want to bring you back out, give you something else to think about, and put you back in. So every time I do the haven't you, aren't you, can't you, I'm literally taking your awareness from inside your head, back out, and then back in, and back out, and back in, and back out. And the law of fractionation says, if I put you in trance, and then I bring you out, and then I put you back in, when you go in, you go deeper, don't you? Look at her. Right? That's influenced by intention. So as you begin to recognize how to use the power of your language more artfully, and you comprehend the amazing power of the awareness presupposition, you can also begin to come to the realization that it is probably by far the most unstoppable, irresistible language pattern that exists. Because even if you know I'm doing it, you can't stop it. And I will prove it yet again, without using negations, which is the poor man's way. As you notice the sensation in your left ear, you probably weren't aware of it until I talked to you about it. As you become aware of the sensation in your left ear, you'll also begin to recognize that there's a weird sensation in your right toe. As you notice the sensation in your right toe, that tingling you weren't aware of in your hair before starts to become more noticeable. As you notice that and try to fight it, you can recognize also that your mind is pretty much going to any state, process, or experience that follows an awareness presupposition and automatically begins to do it, even if you know I'm doing it. Don't you? Do you not, right? You don't need complex languaging. You just need to understand the dynamics of a few of them. Anything that follows an awareness presupposition is presupposed. Your brain, your consciousness, your awareness will begin to initiate the state, process, or experience that follows it. As you become aware of the unrelenting truth behind my words, you can begin to notice how powerfully it's already being accepted so that you can use it in a way that makes your life better, because that's why you're here, isn't it? And the more you utilize these patterns to make your life better, the more rapidly you'll want to come back for more.
So they're always yes answer questions.
They don't have to be.
So if people aren't doing the yeses, isn't that short-sighted?
It's very hard not to say yes to what I'm saying. Because why? I'm not challenging you. I'm not going again. First of all, remember, everything I'm doing is after I've already discovered what you really want. So as you link everything I'm teaching here tonight to the real reason you came here today, and you start to recognize how implementing these things in the right way, in the right order and sequence, gets you what you want more easily, how much more excited will you be to learn the next step? Look at you.
Yeah.
You see that? It's just understanding, A, you all are here for a reason. You didn't come to see David. As egotistical as I am, I know that. I did. Fine. You came here for very personal reasons. You have things you want. Maybe for some of you that's idle curiosity. Maybe for some of you it's to help your clients more, to be more organized, right? Maybe it's to build your practice. Maybe it's because you want to finally make that leap into becoming a hypnotist, right? Maybe you want to close better deals faster and be more in control of the situation. True, not true? True. Right? As you link your reason for being here to the things I'm teaching you, your unconscious mind is already processing, connecting all the things you need to know and do to utilize these principles in a way that's right for your system, that gives you that ability to implement the critical path of influence, what we started with, the ability to control your state, the ability to get deep rapport, the ability to tap into the things that people most want and need on an emotional level, and connect it using your language to what you want them to do in a way that they know that they're getting it, that they can get emotionally excited about doing it, while simultaneously eliminating resistance at its foundation. As you think about the possibilities and realize it's only the beginning, imagine what you'll know a week from now if you've just been implementing what you've learned tonight. Yes, sir?
Have you tried using any of this in emails?
All the time.
Yeah.
Yes, he said that first.
Have you been reading his emails?
Emails, texts.
All good writing has this structure, by the way. If you look at romance novels, they're written in the Magnificent Seven plus or minus 2.
It seems to me, I mean, like Facebook, they have 400 friends now, I've got 85. I can't handle the fighting anymore.
Mhm.
It's nothing but arguments on Facebook.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
I have no idea how that's relevant to tonight's discussion.
Well, it is the, I had the thought now, I lost it, but it's
The form of
Talking about written
I think it's
communication.
easier to argue instead of face to face, you know,
Yeah,
in
the
that sort of
language pattern
indirect
seems
way.
to be, is what I'm getting at, is that we're jumping to hostile language patterns all the time.
Yeah, most people who try to use NLP style languaging suck at it. They suck at it because they don't understand the concept of softening. You see, NLP style languaging, which is basically Ericksonian derivative languaging, okay, is extraordinarily powerful, almost too powerful. Remember I said at the beginning of tonight's class that there were 3 sources of resistance, plus 1. That plus 1 is called reactance. Malcolm, can I use you real quick? I'm just going to push you around. Is that okay? So, I don't want you to be compliant or overly resistive. I just want you to do what comes naturally. So face me, okay? So if I pull you, see the resistance? If I push you, see how he wants to kind of push back? You kind of have that fuck you, right? I always like to get that fuck you factor going. That's reactance, it's physical reactance. I teach martial arts as well. So one of the things that we look for, we try to, sometimes we utilize that. If we know somebody's going to be really going to be combative or whatever, we'll cause pain somewhere else to distract them, and as they resist it, we'll use that resistance to go in that direction. We can do the same thing linguistically. I use my martial arts many times as a direct analog for what we're doing conversationally. What happens is when you use NLP style languaging, the way most people are taught it, if you're doing it from an Ericksonian perspective, you come across extremely confusing, which has its uses, except in most cases that are non-therapeutic. Confusing language will get you thrown out of a boardroom, definitely get you thrown out of the bedroom. You can laugh, guys, it's all right. Obviously, you haven't tried it there, okay. Okay, but it works fine in therapy. My job is to make these patterns cross-contextual, to allow you the ability to go from the classroom to the boardroom to the bedroom to the treatment room, whatever. So we have to change how we look at things. When you use an NLP style language, it has a very powerful impact on your nervous system. But it's almost too jarring. It's like me pushing him. He feels that. And even though he knows it's for his best and highest good, there's an instinctive pushback. So if you want to be very, very good at NLP style languaging and conversational hypnosis, you have to pre-frame everything that comes out of your mouth. So thank you, that was all I needed. No pain this time. You haven't signed the waiver yet. So in other words, when I was asking people about their criteria and values, like Darren, what's important to you? Is Darren or Daryl? Daryl. What's important to you about why you came here tonight? What did you want to come for?
I wanted to add to my proficiency.
Add to your proficiency.
Absolutely.
Excellent. And how would you define that?
Well, I know a lot of the basics and facts and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
The application is a challenge.
Basics, things, and facts, applications like that? Okay. Excellent.
I mean, I picked up a lot just in sitting here.
Cool.
I mean, it's been worth it. Right.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, I'm going to do the exact same thing with Daryl. But this time, what I did there, it was still very smooth. Okay? He's got some rapport with me. I've demonstrated skill sets enough that, okay, this guy's not full of shit. Right? Daryl, just so I understand you better.
Sorry?
Just so I understand you better, so I can better deliver what you really came here for. What was it about tonight that really inspired you to come out?
That inspired me to come out?
Well, yeah. What did you really want to get out of it tonight?
Well, what I wanted to get out of it was better proficiency.
Better proficiency?
I want to be able to affect my people very deeply.
Affect your people very deeply. And you know what? I totally agree. The whole thing, it's the whole reason we're here, really, is to affect people deeply. Absolutely, either ourselves or other people. So just so I understand you better, how do you know when you're affecting people deeply? How do you know when you're having that effect on people?
Feel it.
You feel it. Absolutely. And there is a feeling when you affect people deeply, isn't there? What happened to him?
I went into it.
See how soft he got? What happened to my languaging? Everything was just so I can understand, just so I can give you more. I basically told him why I was about to ask him what I was about to ask him. When you do that, now the power of the language pattern is softened but not dissipated. To use a very violent metaphor, it's like going to the proctologist who uses enough lubricant. Right? There's a visual I didn't need. Thank you, David, you motherfucker. Right? But the truth is that the reason that a lot of NLP-style languaging doesn't work well isn't because it's structurally incorrect. It's because it's too strong, it's too blunt. And it triggers that pushback. If I were to go up to Malcolm and say, Malcolm, what's important about why you came here tonight? He's like, fuck you. First he has that during the headlights look, then he gets and that's where the reactance comes in. And then because I'm in a superior, in a dominance position, he starts to want to comply. Right? True, not true?
True.
Okay. How do I know that? Because I've been on both sides of it. So the whole idea is when you begin to talk to people using your language patterns, and even if you only get 2 tonight, but you understand what they do and how to use them tactically, your language becomes exponentially more powerful if you connect it to their values and their emotions and how they know you're getting it. And it doesn't matter if they're coming to you for physical problems, if they're coming to you for behavioral problems, if they're coming for you to be deeply affected and moved, right? They want to pay with paper, right? The whole point is that the pattern works best when it's not felt directly. You soften, but you must understand what the power of the pattern is. You just don't throw patterns in there to throw patterns in there. Okay? I've only taught you 2. I'm using a lot more on you, but I've only taught you 2. But look at the power of what you've learned in 2 language patterns. Right? It's what you do with what you have, not how much you know, that defines you. Less is more. Just go deep. Really deep. Yeah. There's 2 ways to keep people stuck. Give them not enough information or way too much. So as you begin to allow the learnings of the night to seep into the places where they'll do the most good, as you allow your unconscious mind to continue to process in all the ways that are appropriate for you, that allow you to express these skills in a way that's vitally useful for you, that rapidly gets you what you want in a way that you know that you're getting it. Tonight, while you sleep and while you dream, your unconscious mind is already hard at work, making those changes, creating new connections in your brain, new perceptions and insights that you don't even realize you have yet, but will very soon. As you continue to go deeper into that process, both consciously and unconsciously, you'll begin to realize just how much you've learned tonight, and it's still just the beginning, isn't it? You're already there. You just haven't realized it yet. I wrote it right to the hard drive. Okay? The reason I utilize hypnotic language, both teaching you the structures consciously, but modeling them unconsciously, is so that you have both sides of the equation. You have the conscious understanding, which gives you the ability to recall and comprehend what you're doing. You have the unconscious installation, which means the information's there, and the instructions are there to operate the program. And you have the mirror neuron input of my neurology impacting your neurology, so that everything I'm doing, both consciously and unconsciously, is being mediated through your proprioceptive nervous system, and it's firing all the same neurological connections. It can't not happen. It's physiology. So you've got the model, you've got the theory, you've got the program. Now it's just up to you to let it happen. And that's a good thing, isn't it? NLPpower.com. That's one of them. And there you can find links to all my other websites. I've got too many of them. Anyway, what'd you learn tonight?
Nothing. No, just
Nothing. I failed yet again.
I was in trance. Well, what I got from this today is the definition of the visual, kinesthetic, auditory, gustatory, because I was always confused about that. And it totally made sense the way you put it down. It just, like, I know
Yeah,
that
I often-
I'm going to be able to use it.
Absolutely.
I don't know how, but I will.
You're already using it. Right? The thing is, I make a joke. I'm a certified trainer under Dr. Richard Bandler for the Society of NLP. And I often make a joke. I'm often critical of NLP. I love NLP. It's changed my life in ways I can only begin to describe. But I often make the joke, to err is human. To really complicate things, you need a neuro-linguistic programmer. Okay? It's the bias of the training. It's excellent training. It's just there are certain things that get installed along with it that make people a little bit intimidated to use it. Okay? So we get you the principles. We give you the minimum amount of information so that you can start being functional. Once you're functional, then we add the bells and whistles. What'd you learn tonight?
I like this state control. So I think it's very, very powerful, and also this cause and effect.
Yes. Cause and effect is huge. Huge.
Yeah. So that's where my...
That's good? You happy with that?
Very happy.
All right. Igor, what'd you get?
So, I learned a lot. I learned the way how you use your language, and I was like looking outside what you say, how you say it, and then it gives. So you control with your language. You basically can do everything you want with your language. You can put people back. When you start to talk about something, my brain starts to show me pictures, and it starts to work and imagine pictures, but then you use questions to take me out, and then you give me new pictures, so you basically can control, and it's really good. So I can see how I can use it in my
You can already see how you can use it, can't you?
So I've been doing similar things, but I didn't know the meaning behind them. I was just saying them and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have meaning and understanding, I think it can be more powerful. And
absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
I've been
Give him a big round of applause. He came a long way real quick. Big John.
More on the language and pick up more stuff and remember a bunch of stuff.
Cool.
Awareness. I like the awareness one.
Awareness is cool. Awareness is cool.
Oh, talking about the alphabet, I learned from A, awareness, to VAK.
Uh-huh.
I learned that you know who Dave Ellman is, probably. I think the more you think about it, the more you'll know that I've learned. Isn't that right? I could be mistaken.
You could be, but then again, you might not be.
Yeah, and that you're a peripatetic pygmy. I mean, what did you say about Tantalus? I mean, if we're going to use allusions to mythology.
Well, that he was a version of Tantalus.
Okay, well, I like peripatetic pygmy, but Tantalus was very good. I'm very impressed with that.
No.
And you should be too.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
You, sir.
The algorithm.
Algorithm? Excellent. Excellent.
The word pre-conscious, like really like light up a bulb in my head, and the thing, the conscious mind is last to know. That's like, wow.
Yeah, that's neuroscience, by the way. That's neuroscience.
Yeah, those were like, I think, like very.
In fact, in some studies on like self-deception and stuff like that, the words that came out of a person's mouth didn't actually register in their certain parts of their brain until like 2 seconds after they said it. It's very strange. The actual process we do neurologically is first we believe, then we analyze and judge, we decide, and we defend the decision. So anything that comes in, the first thing that happens is your unconscious mind accepts it uncritically. If you just stop the process there, they never get to the analytical part, and it just goes in. Okay? What'd you learn?
I learned that hypnosis is so much more and so much easier than I previously thought it was.
Isn't it cool?
I think I've probably been doing it accidentally.
We all
for a
have.
while.
You're all hypnotists. You just didn't know it.
I also learned that the IHOP gets really cold at night.
Yes, sir.
I learned a long time ago that when you're in lecture rooms, women always complain it's too cold, and guys just like it fine.
Yep. Laurel, what'd you learn?
Actually, I was in a room with 600 people, and somebody complained it was too cold.
Was it
And
a
so
woman?
the presenter said, in any given room, a third of the people are too cold, a third are too warm, and a third are just fine. So he asked for a show of hands, and that was the exact distribution.
Very cool. So what'd you learn tonight? What'd you get out tonight?
Well, I really liked
you know, the reinforcement of the techniques that you demoed with the framing and doing the ball thing. So, you know, for a while, anything that's, you know, that involves using physical stuff like that, I have to see it a few times. It's not a matter of practicing it. I actually have to see somebody do it before I really get it. So that got sank in, and I learned a bunch of, you know, of my old trance words to use for self-hypnosis.
Excellent.
And to link, you know, everything to feeling good.
If you just link everything you talk to people about to feeling good, they'll find their own good feelings, and they'll move towards it.
Because I know when I'm feeling good, people around me feel good.
Yeah.
So,
Starts with you.
That's what I want to emanate. And
Excellent.
I got a lot of valuable tools.
Cool.
I have a quick question. When she says, I need to see, is that kinesthetic? Because this is how I learn. I need someone to see.
It could be pure visual, it could be a VK synesthesia, because need is a feel, it's a drive, right? So remember something, nobody is avisual, nobody is akinesthetic, nobody is an auditory. The cortexes in your brain, the visual, auditory, kinesthetic cortexes overlap by as much as 40%. As much as 40%. So neurologically, you're not avisual. You just have a preference, okay? You use all of them. And if you really want to be compelling when you speak, you use all the modalities in your speech when you describe things, okay? That's another way of creating very powerful trance effects in people without resorting to hypnotic language patterns.
Yeah. Eliciting the values, knowing what they want, discovering about them before even attempting going blind.
Yeah. The more you know about it, when I teach covert hypnosis, there's 3 I's to what I teach. Influence, or identity, intelligence, and influence. Identity is who you are and what you bring to the interaction. Your beliefs, your capacities, physical, mental, whatever. Intelligence is the amount of information that you can gather about your subject, context, or environment. Context and environment are the most powerful trance operators there are. Okay? If you can engineer context and environment, you control anything else that's sub to it or within it. Okay? Very, very powerful, but most people overlook it. They negate it. They try to get all these tools of influence, which is the 3rd eye, the techniques of influence that you bring to the interaction. Just where you sit at a conference table will determine how much influence you have over the people in it. If I sit in the center of a conference table, I'm not nearly as powerful as the person sitting at the end of it. It's called the mommy and daddy position. Okay? It's proxemic influence. It has nothing to do with NLP, but everything to do with your nervous system.
That's why it was so hard for that Paris Fox at the end of the Vietnam War. They spent a lot of time figuring out what table to use.
Yep.
And they found that they ended up with a circular table.
Yeah, round table. I mean, they could have gone back to literature. Idiots. They were not.
Anything else?
No.
Doral?
I have a question how intelligence is related to context and environment.
Intelligence is not intelligence in terms of IQ. It's in terms of information, like when we gather intelligence.
Okay.
The more we know, here's the saying, here's the axiom in the world according to David. Again, if what I've given you guys tonight is useful for you, go out and use it. If it doesn't, feel free to chuck it. If you had a great time at this meetup, please post good things. If you didn't have a good time, post to somebody else's meetup.
I'm going to adopt that.
Okay? And tell people, because the whole idea is to have fun. I started these meetups. I never started with the intention of doing classes or creating products or whatever. I did this because I like to do cool things with cool people who like to do cool stuff. Are you cool people?
Yeah.
Do you like to do cool stuff? Then I'm in the right place. Everything else, the mentoring program I run, the products I created, everything came out of that. It just came from a desire to want to hang with people who do the things that I do.
I used to drive 2 hours to
Yeah, she used to come to Mission Viejo to hang out with us. Yeah, you know. She remembers the Sleepwalker days. Most of you are too young to remember that, but yeah, that's how it started. It started about just a bunch of guys and gals getting together to practice cool stuff and get better. It didn't matter who certified you, if you were certified, whether you've been in the business 20 minutes or 20 years. You came to our Sleepwalker meetings or our Hypnosis Network meetings, you rolled up your sleeves, had a good attitude, did the drills, you left with the skills. That's all it's ever really been about. Everything else came out of the need to service the community, People kept saying, when are you going to do a class? When are you going to do a certification? And I said, I don't do that. When are you going to do a class? When are you going to do it? I don't do that. 2 years later, I'm doing it because they won't leave me alone. You know, but that wasn't how I started. My whole job was to make people competent. That was my goal, to give you the skills. That was it. And she'll tell you. Every organization on the planet wanted to fish in our pond.
All right, lovely people, talented, I'm still friends with everyone.
And in fact, if you can get to Vegas in July or June, HypnoThoughts Live, probably the best place you can go right now for no holds barred, full spectrum hypnosis. You know, whatever your application. HypnoThoughts Live. It's the second annual hypnosis convention that they've run. HypnoThoughts.com is the world's largest online hypnosis social community. Highly recommend it. Start with my good friend Scott Sandlin, who was one of the founding members of the LA Sleepwalkers, by the way, in case you didn't know that. Christiane, what'd you get out tonight?
Most of all, just have fun with it.
Have fun with it. Yeah. Cool. Daryl.
It expanded my horizons a lot.
Nice.
You know, on multiple levels, it really did. And I mean, like I said, I think I'm one of these guys who suffer from information overload.
Most of us
I
do.
read constantly,
Mhm.
and always looking for a new twist and things like that. But then you have all this stuff in your head, it's like, okay, how do I arrange it in a
Mhm.
sequence that matters?
Mhm.
And tonight I found sequences.
Excellent. Give him a big round of applause. That's big. It's what I call it the championship model. You know, everybody here has seen a boxing match, right? Whether you like boxing or not, you've seen it, right? And you see punches flying everywhere. You realize that a boxer only knows 5 punches? Boxers only have 5 punches. They have a jab, a cross, an uppercut, a hook, and an overhand. But they can hit you in any combination, from any angle, in any sequence with those 5 techniques. Well, you've got 7 language patterns that you've started to learn. If you just master them and practice them and understand them and use them in any combination, you can hit anybody with so many lefts that they're begging for a right.
They're begging for a right. I'll just add too, so.
AC/DC has 2 chords.
Malcolm, what'd you get out of tonight?
Well, I would echo many of the other things that people said, learning the sequence of things, getting a better understanding of the concepts, filling in some gaps, and I hadn't really noticed that the room was cold.
And you still haven't.
Till now.
Till now. Excellent. Well, I want to thank you all for coming out. I hope you had a good time. We'll see you next month.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
So is it once a month?
Once a month for now. As things grow, we'll see about doing more.
Okay.
It's all based on what you guys want and what you guys do.
Okay, thanks a lot.
pleasure.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
a great job.
Thank you, sir.
I've been to different seminars like that. People trying to do meetups, hypnotherapists, but no,
Thank you.
I was tired there. And
Yeah.
Good
Daryl.
meeting you, man.
Good meeting
Thank you.
Mhm.
yeah, it's gonna go far for sure.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So where do you train martial arts?